Lennie Niehaus's intent in writing these exercises, as he wrote in the introduction to this first volume, is to really present a rhythmic study that you can really learn a rhythmic concept through a simple melody. And in this case is da 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 da, but it's all about the swing. And so I think understanding, his approach to writing this, I think it's really makes it manageable for you to practice. Understanding your goal here is really not every note as it's written, but rather how they connect in a swing feel. So. So breaking down the first line of this exercise really requires you to have a solid feel of swing. Lennie Niehaus tries to break it down by having you think of the note split into 3 sections rather than 4. So like a triplet feel, like ta 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 ta, so that you're playing da 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 instead of da da da, right? That's straight 8th notes, but then playing it swing 8th, mathematically, it's where it becomes a stumbling block. So I do not like the math part. So I like the triplet kind of feel because you have this, sort of unknown space to work with, which is what I love about swing and have always been hooked on since like day one. So think of it as a triplet feel. Ta 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 da da. I think you could fit your understanding of swing into that kind of framework or parameter. So that will carry you for the rest of your life if you that is if you're having issues with swing. But since I'm doing a beginner's kind of level exercise, I'm going to presume a lot of you really will want to really crack that if you haven't really mastered or decoded what swing is when you're playing on the saxophone. So I'm hoping to do this with you throughout the entire course, through all the tunes that I do. So if you like what I'm doing, please hit the like button, please subscribe. Like I said, I've never done this kind of thing before, so I'm trying to really share everything that I know about playing for those who are in seek of growing their craft and their understanding of it. And so the second line of this tune is really a repeat of the first line. Again, if you have the feeling of swing mastered, you can go da 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 da. The second line would be da 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 da. So in all of these printed Lennie Niehaus materials, whether they're exercises or etudes, and regardless of what level, beginner all the way to advanced, there are going to be some of these accents written into the music, and they'll look like this. I'll just draw them out just so it's easier to illustrate. You have a very flat line, and you have sort of a upside down V-shape accent, and then you have a sideways one, and it looks like these. All right, so and how should I say this? Like for me, after like decades of playing, I'll be honest with you, these, I do not think of what the definition is for these. I'm going to read you the definition of what the flat one is here. Is the note is, if you see this above a note, it's given full value and attacked with a legato tongue, okay? And then for this one, the note is accented and played short, okay? And then for this one, it says the note is accented and held its full value. So I believe these are stumbling blocks, not intentional. Author meant well. This was written in the 1960s. I mean, music hasn't changed, okay? 12 notes are the same 12 notes, okay? That's since the 12-tone system was invented. So these accents are really guides, and to be truthful with you, after many decades of playing, my definition of these three would not have been this. It would have been play differently. I mean, and that's why a lot of people give the real book and the fake book such a bad rap, because they're not accurate. And the point of writing those was not to be accurate. It was supposed to provide a guide, and you'll never see these in like the real book or the fake book, because it's up to the musician, I believe. And I know this is true. I played with other professionals, and they all say, yeah, the real book is just there to give you the hints you need to play what you know about the song and stuff like that. So to get to the point here with Lennie Niehaus, I think try not to get like frustrated by these things, because it shows in your playing if you're attacking notes with your tongue where you don't have to. And I'll show you, and I'll show you right now how I read this in this exercise. So as you can see on this first line, you have those accent marks. Da 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 da. Second line goes da 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 da. I always suggest to my in-person students to sort of ignore these and just sort of swing it. Get the swing feel first, so that you're sounding more like. Then understand, like, this accent really means not to use your tongue, because the tongue is going to be too much of a fat sound and won't fit in with this swing feel. So you'll understand that what you're really doing is abruptly stopping the breath. So you can get that accent by doing what we just did, like this. I used my tongue just on the second note, right? And the first note. Da, da, and then I cut off the note, okay? And the B section goes da 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 da. So for the third and the fourth line, those straight lines, the horizontal accent marks are going to be like, you'd be careful with the tongue. So it's just treading lightly with the tongue, as lightly as you can, before the last accent, which is this. And a lot of times I used to when I was much younger, but students tend to, as I'm teaching, will hit that note a little too hard. So it should be more like. so yeah, so what I'm doing there is I'm treading lightly with the tongue and then making sure that last note with this accent is not too fat and consistent with the sound that you're blowing out. And how do you keep the sound consistent? I hate to say it, but that's like another series of videos. But in short, it's the breathing. You got to do like make sure your diaphragm, you're in touch with it. That's all I gotta say. I mean, that's really the easiest way to describe it. Players who are very obviously in touch with their diaphragm, who I really follow. I mean, like people have died, like Sidney Bechet, for example. All of that fire you hear is from his breathing into the instrument in a manner that just really it's kind of explosive, and that's something that I try to emulate. But I still have a ways to go and really projecting my voice as a musician. But in terms of understanding the material, I'd like to really share with you this really, valuable knowledge. If you like what you're seeing, please hit the like button. Please subscribe. Let me know how I'm doing, because this is like the first time I'm doing such a video. I hope it's helpful. Please let me know in the comments below. So yeah, as I demonstrated, I try to keep the sound consistent and doing the accents, whether it's a horizontal, this or that, it just means doing something different there with the sound, and whether it's using your tongue or withholding your breath abruptly, it's going to require, yes, a deep understanding of your diaphragm here, which is right under the rib cage. It's necessary to breathe in and out. Harnessing the diaphragm's power is, I think, essential for your continuous playing. Great, so we went over the first section and the middle section of the tune, and then it goes back, I guess, in A and B, and then it goes back to the A section again. Da 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 da. Right? So, and then there is I guess, C section, right? It sounds like this. Right? And that line is repeated, I think, note for note. And again, swing feel is, critical here, as well as that's first priority. And the second would be, I guess, understanding a bit of the phrasing. But again, try your best, even at the expense of the accents, ignoring the accents completely. Try to just be able to go through that part of the scale that he writes out. I'm going to use no accent. Sorry, I got... Except for the last note, I think I just did it legato or with no tonguing. So I guess that's to show that you can really you should really ignore the things that are on the printed music, so that you can really focus on the more fundamental concept of swing, and then maybe start paying attention to those other things like the accents. So I think that's a good way to start practicing. And since it's part of a scale, again, I'm going to do my plug here for practicing your scales and chords every day. I'll go through, if you like, I'll go through what I do and how to get through all 12 scales, all 12 keys in scale and chord studies. Yeah, and then it goes back to, I guess, the A section. So this exercise number 1 is an A section, da 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 da, and the B section is da 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 da, and then the C section is da 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 da, and then back to the A section. So really nice exercise. It's really kind of like iconic in a way for Lennie Niehaus, because I talk to other saxophone teachers, and everyone seems to make fun of this first exercise, and I'm always thinking, well, why are you making fun of it? I mean, it's a famous exercise, and I think what they're really getting at is it's just it's just really hard. It seems like there's a lot of students that are challenged at the get-go with this. But I don't see there's any reason to be challenged unnecessarily. I think the accents are a stumbling block. If and then go back to them if you can really get the swing feel, get a better understanding of the piece of music. So I think I talked. So if you like what you're hearing and you find this helpful, please hit the like button and please subscribe. And let me know how I'm doing in the comments below. Take care.